शांतये श्रेष्ठ शक्ति करुणारुणा प्रभम संतनोतु मुनिवृंद सेवितम भावगम्यम अनिशम शिवम महा करुणापूरित चित्तां सच्चिद्रूपां परां दिव्यां ब्रह्म सहचरीं तुर्यां बगलां शक्तिं प्रणौमि सौभाग्याम् यत् कारुण्यं वेक्ष भावभरितं सानंद गीतं सदां तच्चिंता निपुणैः शुद्धमतयो ये साधकाः सज्जनाः तेषां लब्ध कृपा लवेन जननी बोधोदयो मे अभवत् तदवृत्तं विनिवेद्य साम्प्रतमहं तोषं परं प्राप्तवान्. Jai Mai Maharaj ki to all my Sahayogis present today. Today, again, we would take up Anamopai and then we would conclude this Shiva Sutras Mahayagya today. And last week we did Dhyan based because we have seen previously with respect to Anamopai, we have seen that how many types of Anamopai are there. So primarily, Uchchara Karan, ध्यान वर्ण स्थान प्रकल्पने यो भवेत समावेश सम्यगान उच्यते, which are further divided into these 8 by Mahameshwar Acharya Abhinav Gupta ji. So till now we have covered dhyan. Now uchchar karana varna and sthan prakalpan would be taken up, and as this is sutra, so sutra means formula. So formula, as it is formula, all the discussions are in esoteric manner, means they are not very clear distinct. So the thing is that these sutras have some darshanic meaning, philosophical. I do not say, because in my personal thought process, philosophy is not darshan. Darshan is realization. It's vision of visionary, the realization of a yogi, and then philosophy is philosophy. It would certainly have some great definitions. So last week we have concluded dhyan and the virtue of what happens by the virtue of dhyan. So Trishu Chatur Tailvadasecham, all these are related to dhyan. And earlier also we have discussed, in initial days we have discussed a little about dhyan, where it was told that when the dhyan is done, the yogi reaches to the state of turiya state. And when he continues, he shall stay there and then he shall start uchchar. So that uchchar is discussed here in this state, which would now be discussed. And in this uchchar, six kind of anand, means bliss, are discussed. So we had shortly discussed in the first class of this Anavopai that how these 6 bliss act. So here those things are not mentioned distinctly because acharyas have revealed these secrets for their pupil due to the mercy, due to the love which they have for the pupil. Otherwise, in these sutras, these are mentioned in an esoteric manner. So we start. So the first sutra says Magna Swachitten Pravishet. What does it mean? So while resorting in the state of the Turiyanand, one shall give up the thought of existence of body. Means the fact is that when we are asked who are we, then we say that okay, I am Giriratna Mishra, because and that identity does not belong to us. That identity is of this body, of this physical body, which is made of panchatattva. And so panchatattva, and then Gyanendriya and Karmendriya are also there. So this body, that identity is of this body. So the thoughts of existence of body, and which would also mean that the thought of considering the self as this body is given up, and the chit is made divide of vikalpas, then one shall repose in it. The fact is, here the indication direction is that the yogis shall repose in that turiya state only. They shall not give up. Whatever they have acquired in the state of dhyan, they shall continue to maintain that. So Magna Swachitten Pravishet. Then after that, what to do means, okay, I'm in the state of turiya, means while looking all around, I see that turiya avastha means I keep my mind in that state, turiya state only, while looking around also. So what shall be done next? Because this is not the ultimate state. There is turiya atit avastha. So what shall be done? So prane samachare samdarshanam. While reposing in this state, when there is unity, means when slowly exhaling, and then exhaling means inhale, the pranachar is called prana. When there is unity with the pranachar, when there is unity with the pranachar, okay, when mind is unified with that, the thoughts are unified with that pranachar, then yogi feels advait with all the states. Here there is something which shall be made further clarified. The unity shall be in terms of consistent monitoring. That consistent monitoring of that pranachara shall be, that means breath is going out, that consistent monitoring shall be there. And when that consistent monitoring happens, it means you continuously think of something going in and out. So in that state, the mind enters in nirvikalpa avastha, and in that nirvikalpa avastha, what happens is that yogi only realizes the advait state, because in nirvikalpa avastha only self is realized. That self is Shiv. That self is realized, which is Shiv. So that Shiva avastha is realized. So when you that when you realize Shiv only because you are Shiv, so Advait is realized. So there are more things in it. So that description, I'm not entering in that description because it's a process based, and processes cannot be discussed publicly. Madhye avarah prasavah. If such yogi he reposes in this turiya state, does not acquire turiya state. You might have seen some Siddha Mahapurushas who incline up to some level and then they suddenly decline a lot. So many means yogis you might have seen around. In Gita also said that Shuchinam Srimatanam cha Bhrashta Sadhaka Bejat. In this line there is a shlok. In Gita I do not recollect the exact line. So what will happen if, so here Bhagwan Shiv, because Shiv Sutra is written by Bhagwan Shiv only, so Bhagwan Shiv alerts the yogis that if in any case you will not reach to the state of Turiya Tir, then in that intermediate state, bad thoughts would cure. I will tell you, all of you are doing sadhana, and all of you know about your internal thought processes. Okay, and you all might have been into a dilemma position where you are not able to control the thoughts of your mind, which is deviating, which is bringing so many carnal pleasure likings. So why it is that? Because you are not moving to the next level. When such thing happens, हम बाद में आ जाएंगे, आके तुमको ले लेंगे, ठीक है? So such when suppose whenever it's a message for all those who are doing sadhana here, that if suppose at some certain level of sadhana you see that okay, now your mind is not under control, then it means that you have to move to the next level. It is clear indication, because whatever you have means the sadhana which you are doing has made your chit shuddha and broader. The chit has become broader, and as the chit has become broader, it has space for keeping in some more things. So if suppose sadhana path shuddha samvid is acquired by sadhana, so ashuddha samvid would also cure in, and that as the chit becomes broader, the more intense ashuddha samvid attacks. More intense means because your chitta has become a lot shuddha, so small things would not attract you. Major things would attract you. So what is this indication? This indicates that you shall move to the next level. You shall increase your sadhana. If you are a mantra yogi, increase the mantra mala count. If you are doing stotra sadhana, increase the stotra count. If you are doing puja, then after puja you shall increase something more. Maybe some sahasranam, panchang, whatever you do, you shall increase something. Some increment is required at that point of time. And if the increment would not be given immediately, you would fall. Even if you are doing that particular sadhana, you would fall, because that sadhana would provide you certain amount of fuel, which would consume in maintaining its position. But the rest of place would not be filled. So it is necessary to move on and increase the sadhana. So that's what it is mentioned here. This is the message that after dhyan, one shall move to uchchara. So that only is mentioned here. So After doing what happens? Matra swapratyay sandhane nashtasya punarutthanam. Due to consistent contemplation of swa or aham evedam sarvam means I only am is all this. So that is parahanta. In this, when continuously contemplating that parahanta state of self, which is swa, swa in this Paramadhyatmat means self, that is Shiv. Swa means real self. So here swa. In the materials like form, etc., Turiyanand cures again. So what happens? If suppose you are going down, means you have not done excess practice and you are not able, and hence you are not going to Turiya state. So what will happen? You will start fading down from Turiya avastha. I will tell you something where it's a great secret here. Why Ganapati and Batuk are worshipped? Because Pranachar is there. So Ganesh and Batuk represent Apan and Prana. Ganesh and Batuk in reality represent Apan and Prana. Prana Vyapti and Apan Vyapti, that way. So now the fact is mentioned that even if someone has reached to the Turiya Avastha, okay, so Vinayak can pull him down. Why? Because the Mool Apan Vyapti happens up to Mooladhar, and Mooladhar Swami of Mooladhar is Ganapati. So Swami of Mooladhar is Ganapati. So Apan Vyapti, so that's why after Dhyan this Prana sadhana, then so many logics are there behind this. But Apan and Prana are Ganapati and Batuk, so that's why Ganapati and Batuk puja is done, and that is the reason why in Sri Vidya Sadhana first Ganesh, like in Ganapati Kram, Mahaganapati Kram, so in morning time Mahaganapati puja is done, so that Nirvighna, all the rest of pujas may happen. So that entire cycle of puja which happens extrinsically is representation of your thought process. Oh, sorry, your internal process of your growth. If you will thoroughly look at the puja paddhati, you will see that how your chitta becomes purified right from beginning up to end, and that only Sri Vidya Purnakram, Para, then Varahi, Matangi, Shri Kram, then Parakram in night time, Mahaganapati Kram in morning, so all that. So what is then? How to, if suppose Turiya teeth you are not reaching, then at least you shall manage to stay in the Turiya Avastha. In the Turiya Avastha, Mata Pratyay Sandhane Nashtasya Punarutthanam. So consistent contemplation of Swa, even if you are going outside, okay, you are in public, Jagrat Sapna Sushupti state, you shall consistently contemplate on your real self. By this, you will not fall from Turiya Avastha. And this would give further engagement to the Chitta, the purified Chitta. That space, the vacuum which is there, would be filled by this thing. And what will happen later on? When Turiya state matures, then Turiya Teeth, Yogi in the Turiya Teeth state becomes equal to Shiva and acquires yogic body. Yogic body is acquired. Why? Because Deh Kala dissolves. Deh Kala dissolves. So this does not happen with everyone. There is a speech on my YouTube channel which you can listen to. It's about Swami Ram. Swami Ram had a yogic body, and Swami Lakshmanji says that whenever he would go to washroom, entire premises would fill up with the smell of thousands of bottles of perfume. So why was it? It's because he acquired the yogic body. My Gurudev means Param Puji Shri Swamiji Maharaj, I tell you, he would only use 4 bites in a day. Only 4 bites in a day. What is this? Because the body has become divine, means the organic structure of body and its operation changes. And yogis have capability to convert this body into such a divine body that it would not operate by virtue of Vata, Pitta and Kapha. So this is all happening here. So Prana Uchchar, that all would happen through the Prana Uchchar. That process is not mentioned here, and I am also not mentioning it here because it is out of context. It is something which shall be discussed in person, and not even in person. Person means in physical presence only. Why? Because in during exercise, Guru would continuously monitor you whether you are doing it properly or not. And if you are not doing properly, you may develop some major physical illness, and which may cause you danger in your life also. Sharira vrittir vratam. So what will happen? What will happen in such a state? So it says Sharira vrittir vratam. The yogi who is of this state, the yogi who is of this state means in the state of Shivoham shall continue to realize the same in the body. His experiences with body would be similar. So that vritti means that that vritti generally represents your livelihood. Vritti is related to livelihood also. Okay, so livelihood. So that kind of livelihood means your consistent occupation in which you would consistently uh, consider yourself as you are Shiv only in Turiyati state. So the body would also act like that. Means the body, you would feel that this body is not body of Giriraj. It would be like an instrument for you. So that kind of uh, realization would be that I don't say that observation, because observation is low void. It's a realization. Then what happens? Katha japaha. Whatever such a yogi would speak, that would become jap. Whatever he would speak, because aham pratyaumarsh would deliberate all around. Aham pratyaumarsh would deliberate all around. So that would happen continuously. And dana matma jnanam. Diyate iti danam. So in general, there is a lot of confusion related to danam, dan. Like nowadays we see that kanya dan and kanya. Actually, in 99% cases, when a daughter is married, she goes to the house of her in-laws. She goes to house of in-laws. So when the father gives hand of his daughter in the hand of husband, he takes commitment from him. You will keep my daughter happy. You will keep my daughter happy. All this, that all is in Sanskrit and people do not understand. That's why there is so much. Father takes commitment that okay, I am giving you my daughter. So it's a social foundation. And when father makes when father takes such a commitment, then in that case, if the commitment is not fulfilled, he can go and ask why the commitment is not fulfilled. Because diyate iti danam means anyways the daughter is going from his home. So dan does not mean donation. He is not donating his daughter. He is giving hand of daughter in the hand of husband in the social secured manner, where the security shall be in terms that if you would not take care of my daughter, I can question you. Means that word is not there, but the fact is I can question you. So that is out of context discussion. I was explaining the meaning of danam, so that is out of context. Danam atma jnanam. So in that case, the dan would be donation of giving of atma jnana, the jnana which resides in swa. That atma jnana. It's donation. Okay, so such a person, donation of such a person is atma jnana only. He shares his realizations with others, with his pupil, with his shishyas. So that is dan. Yo avipastho jnana hetushcha. So avipast means the meaning of avipam shakti mandalam. Kavargad yadishtatrayo devyo bhavanti. So what does it happen? What happens? Due to his Maheshwari Shaktis, etc., who are Devis of Ka class, etc. So we have seen earlier in this class only that Ka, Kha, Ka work, Cha work, Ta work, Ta work, Pa work, all these work, Ya work, and Sha work. All these work means classes of Hindi consonants or Sanskrit consonants, there are associated matrikas. So Ashtamatrikas are associated to these consonant and these classes. So what happens? Cure means matrika in generic term, that matrika chakra cures within such a yogi, and as that cures within the yogi due to jnana shakti. This would happen by the virtue of jnana shakti, because these are jnana shakti. Then yogi realizes his Shiva being, that he is Shiv. Swama Shakti Prachayo Asya Vishwam. The curing of his Shakti only is this world. Swama Shakti Prachayo Asya Vishwam means the curing of such a Shakti. See, here it is already it is mentioned that Shivatva has been acquired. So after Shivatva is acquired, what would happen? When the Shakti Prachaya would happen, means the growth in the form of curing of Kriya Shakti, means from Chid, Anand, Ichha, Jnana up to Kriya, when the Shaktis have cured, means all these 5 Shaktis are cured, which are called as Panchakritya in different manner. When these 5 Shaktis cure, what would happen? Yogi would be able to create. That yogi would be able to Swashakti Prachayo Asya Vishwam. So, hai na? So what happens here? That he would be able to realize, that means he would be able to realize that this entire world is his Shakti only, creation, and in different manner power of creations also come, power of vibhutis also come, that is of Shaktopaya. Vibhutis are related to Shaktopaya, not Adamopaya. But as the ultimate is earning of Adamopaya is Shaktopaya, so that would also happen. Sthiti Layau. So here creation is talked, then Sthiti and Lay also is talked. Within Chidahanta is Sthiti. So when such a yogi is in the state of Chidahanta, means that would be Sthiti. And when he would withdraw from outside and repose in Atma, means Turiya Avastha, when he would enter, then Lay would happen. Lay would also happen. So he would realize Srishti, Sthiti and Lay, means operation, creation, operation, destruction, all 3 within self only. Within self only. Such a realization would happen, means he would realize entire process of creation within himself. These are the virtues of Uchar. Tat parvittavapya nirasa savetri bhavat. The pervasion and contract. So now the what is creation, operation, etc., that also is highlighted here, and it is said that pervasion and contraction of bhed happens due to Swashakti in Atma Samvid only, means that pervasion is creation and its contraction is samhar. What? Of what? That is of bhed. Means this discriminative word. So a pervasion of discrimination and its removal of this discrimination happens due to Swatantra Shakti, which is of Atma Samvid only. Atma Samvid is Shiv. So it is very clear that Shiv ki Swatantra Shakti of Shiv only does all these things. There is a question that suppose yogi would realize that creation, operation, destruction, etc. So would it disturb his state? So the answer is no, because he has attained perfection. That such a yogi has attained perfection. And yogini also could be said, because it is not that this path is only for men. When I say he, you will see that Lalleshwari is there, and then one more yogini, I forgot her name. You know? So there are various yoginis of this Sampradaya Paramadvaitma who have attained all this with perfection. So he or yogi means it is for yogini also. You know? So that is the thing. And what will happen? So that yogi is beyond Sukh and Asukh. And so, like, what would happen? Sukh and Asukh means joy and sorrow would not affect him, how would it affect? What did it happen? What would happen? He would see joy and sorrow like any other object lying. Blue and yellow means any other object lying here in the back. Like it's lying on my table, so it's okay. It's lying here. I will use it whenever required, or I will not use it also. It does not bother me. Similarly, mobile is there. So many things are lying on the table. That Caesar is also here. So these do not bother me. The same way, the way these objects do not bother me, same way joy and sorrow joy and sorrow do not bother him. And the one who is free of joy and sorrow only is Kevali. He only is Kevali. So there are 7 kind of pramata. So that also is discussed here, and it would be a detailed discussion if suppose that topic is open. We will not enter there. Moh pratisanghatastu karmatma. So now Parmeshwar Shiv is writing bhumika or preface of next upay, that is Karan, and he says moh pratisamhatastu karmatma. So what he says, being associated to passions, he becomes karmatma. Deluded by ignorance, he becomes worldly and is captured by good and bad. Okay, so when the so here again the not Anavupai, Adamal, Karmal, and Mayimal, all the effect of all those is mentioned. So by the virtue of Maya, Karmatma happens, and he forgets his real self and again enters in this world. Okay, so this is mentioned here. Bhed tiraskare sargantar karmatvam. While rejecting the bhed related to Deh and Pran, the pure Chaitanya cures and the Atma becomes capable of doing creation. So this sutra defines what is Karan. Karan is related to rejection. That Karan is related to rejection. You have to continuously reject. That rejection happens, and then this Karan is a Saptadhami of 7 levels. So all those levels are not mentioned in detail here. In secret manner, they are mentioned here. So we are not going to enter in that detail, because if suppose we discuss about Karan only, or Uchar only, or Dhyan only, or Varn only, Sthan Prakalpan only, so I tell you that these themselves would require so many lectures, and there are certain practices also related to them. So the idea of Shiv Sutra of this class is to give all my sahyogis, all you sahyogis, an idea that what is there in Shiv Sutra and what is the framework of this sadhana. And when you would ultimately know the framework, you would be able to find out that where do you stand and and as per your realizations, you would be able to justify that at what level you are. So that is the objective of this class, and not in the objectives. So in the line that Bhed Tiraskara Sargantar Karmatvam, while rejecting the Bhed related to Deh and Pran, the pure Chaitanya cures and the Atma becomes capable of doing creations, means Shivatva. Creations means Shivatva. Shivatva is acquired. Karana Shakti Sato Anubhavatah. So again, the Karana Shakti, Karaneshwari Shaktis are mentioned here. This way, in case of dreams and mental determinations, Karana Shakti is realized. Due to power of Karana only, same way the yogis who repose in their Swa also experience Karana Shakti. So what happens? That realization of Karana Shakti will happen due to power of Karana only. So Karana and Karana Shakti are 2 different things. Karana Shakti are Karaneshwaris, which operate your Antahakaran and Bahakaran. So Man, Buddhi, Ahankar, Panch Gyanendriyan, 5 Gyanendris, senses of organs related to Gyan, and senses of organs related to Karma. And then Man, Buddhi, and Ahankar. So the Devis who are operating this are known as Karana Shaktis. And then when mental determination would be realized by virtue of them, what will happen? This would happen by the power of Karana only. So Karana means you will have to do Nirakshir Vivek. Means you will have to reject what is bhed or discriminative. And you will have to keep in what is Chid. Same way the yogis who repose in their swa also experience Karana Shakti. The yogis who repose in their swa also experience the Karana Shakti. This is the thing. Tripadad Anupranama. That yogi can do creation by his strong will. So again, so because Karan has been explained here, so the influence of means what are the virtues which yogi acquires while doing all this is explained. So it is said that yogi can do creations by his strong will, like swapna sankalpa, means like whatever he determined in thought, that would happen, start happening by the virtue of swatantra karana shaktis. He can put on jagra swapna and sushupti state, and means he can put on jagra swapna sushupti state and add, because here the, as I told you, karan is of 7 levels. So one of such level is discussed. So I will not take up that which level is all is here, because again this would increase the discussion, and so many other things are there which will deviate the topic. So the thing is that as the Turiya state is covered, in only Jagrat Swapna Sushupti state, he can put on, and the Turiya state at this level would be covered by Maya. Okay, so the indications are given that how yogi can invoke Turiya state. So it is said that he can invoke the Turiya state, and how it would happen, then again it would happen by the virtue of Karan only. Means that by the virtue of the Karan only, that consistent this thought on self only, and by rejecting the outer things, he would acquire these things. Chitta sthitva sharira karanam bahyeshu. This Swatantra Shakti invokes extrinsic currents also, the way it did in case of Chitta. So it would Bahya Karan. Bahya Karan, what are Bahya Karan? So invokes Bahya Karan means Panch Gyanendri and Panch Kirvendri also would be invoked by the virtue of this thing. Okay. The as it did in the case of Chit. So first it purified Antahakaran, then Bahakaran also purification. That also means the virtue of this sadhana is that from inside up to outside, all around. Even if suppose when you are in that state, even suppose you are picking up this thing and again keeping it here. Okay, you are picking something and keeping it here. In all those activities, only Shivat would be realized. Your body would act merely like an instrument. Your body would only act like an instrument. Your soul would be detached from all its activities. In Upanishad, it is mentioned as Tena Takten Bhongji Tha, means let it do whatever it is doing. You would be in the state of your real self. Shivatva would be there. Abhilashat Bahirgati Sambahyasya. If in case a yogi, so what will happen if suppose a yogi dies in Turiya state and does not really reach to Tuyatit state. So it is mentioned here that such a yogi would take rebirths. It's true that he would take rebirths, but his Atma Tattva would be detached. His Atma Tattva would be detached. So in one line, I would say that the only earning which we would carry with ourselves is that our sadhana and nothing else. Tadaruna pramite tat shaya jiva sankshayaha. Due to Gyan of yogi who resorts in that state, his desires decay and hence the Jivan dissolves. Now it is very means something which has to be understood here. It is said that means this sutra only is further expanded like that, means somewhat the same thing has been explained here. It is said that due to Gyan of yogi who resorts in that state, the yogi who resorts in such a state, okay, in such a state means Turiya state. So this is Due to jnana of yogi who resorts tadarud pramite tat kshaya jiva sankshaya. So jivan dissolves means what will happen? That the extrinsic life, the life which he lives through his body while considering the body as truth, would dissolve. That life would not exist. That life would not exist. The life, uh, because he has acquired the true gyan, that true gyan has been acquired, that he is Atma Tattva. See, here the gyan is not, does not mean reading the book and learning what is written there. Here, gyan is of realization. The gyan is by realization and not by cramming or learning. The gyan is by realization. It is by, for example, you realize the taste of your favorite dish. Okay, you realize the taste of your favorite dish by relishing that favorite dish. Same way, you realize your real self by the virtue of sadhana. So that is the gyan. Here, gyan does not mean learning the book, the whatever is written in scriptures. That realize scriptures are just to give you an idea that what the fact is, what earlier siddhas have realized, and just to give you a path that you have to follow this path, and while going on this path you will find this and this. But it's like a guidebook. Suppose you are going somewhere and the guidebook is there, okay, so at this place you will see this. So that would help you to finish your trip wisely and in proper way. So that's where it happens here. So that jivan dissolves. It says that jivan dissolves. Desires would deacon, the jivan dissolves means the extrinsic life would be become, means senseless, means such a yogi would be in this world, but his jivan, he would be, his real self would be within his swa only and not outside. Bhut kanchuki tada vimukta bhuyah pati samah parah. The yogi free of prapanch of kanchukas becomes like that of Shiv. The yogi free of the prapanch of kanchukas become like that of Shiv. Such a yogi. So kanchuk are there. So kanchuk are means, we have discussed kanchuk earlier also. So when we were discussing of 36 tattvas, so rag, kala, all those are kanchuk. So such a yogi becomes free of kanchuk. 5 kanchuk are there. So prapanch of kanchuk and becomes like that of Shiv. So what happens? He enters in Shuddha Adhva. He enters in Shuddha Adhva. That is what here mentioned. Samahapara. Nasikantar. So now after that, what happens? Varn and Sthan Prakalpan happens. After that, Varn and Sthan Prakalpan is mentioned. So what in this, what is in Varna Prakalpan? Varna Prakalpan is different kind of exercise. I will just tell, say suppose someone says Ram, or not Ram, is, say someone says something, okay, some word is there. So in Varna Prakalpan, what will happen? While speaking any word, or in case of any mantra, so for that mantra, you will have to contemplate on the place within your body from where every single letter has evolved. So that is Varna Prakalpan. Again, so that is some kind of Shaktopaya sadhana also. So that has some Shaktopaya effect also. He explains also that how it is mentioned here. So many things are given in Tantra Lok. So again, that is a detailed discussion. I am not entering. And Sthan Prakalpan. So Sthan means you have to contemplate on a place. So Nasika Antarmadya Sanyamat Kimatra Savyata Sabya Sushumnesu. Means Savya means Yada Pingala and Sushumna. So you will have to contemplate on Dwadashant. Nasika means, Dwadashan means 12 angul, 12 anguls above at this point. So see this 10 and then 2. Here at this point you have to contemplate, and don't do this because without proper guidance, if it will be done, this may cause heart attack and person may die also. Just telling you for that Nasikantar means Dwadashant pe, you will have to consistently monitor that. The while consistently monitoring the Shakti which resorts inside, because this Pranachar is Kriya Shakti. So when you monitor Pranachar and at Dwadashant means Hridaya Dwadashant, very whatever Dwadashant, I will not go in that detail because again that is practice. So what will happen then? Kriya Shakti would be enlightened, and then what will happen? By the grace of Parashakti, yogi attains Brahma Gyan, and then there is nothing left for them. Then what happens? Bhuyasat Pratimilanam. So Varna and Sthan Prakalpan. So by the virtue of by the virtue of all these five upay, yogi attains the state where there is supreme bliss, Jagadanand or Paramanand, and dissolves in Chaitanyam Atma. Chaitanyam Atma, Atma Tattva becomes Chaitanya, and he dissolves in that Chaitanyam Atma. And by this Adavopaya concludes, and I thank to all of you for giving your time and listening to me patiently. Jai Mai Maharaj.
Hey, Mai. Thank you, Giri Ratnaji. Thank you very, very, very much for all your precious time that you've given us. Before I go further, is any questions from anyone? You've given us so many things for thought. I think it's going to take a while for us to digest it. But absolutely. You mentioned about Dhanam Atma Jnanam. So basically, I think that's what it is. We're indebted to you with all this Atma Gyan that you've given us.
I don't know. That is not like that.
No, definitely. Okay, fine. Just a question. Okay, this Nirvikalp Samadhi Avastha, is that the same as Khechari Avastha, Khechari Samaya?
See, Nirvikalpa Avastha, if suppose you ask me first, I shall define what is Nirvikalpa Avastha. So Nirvikalpa Avastha is thoughtlessness of mind. Okay, that is thoughtlessness of mind. There is no thought in Nirvikalpa Avastha, and there is realization that I am Shiva. Okay, so when such a state is acquired and yogi goes wherever, he sees that whatever activity he is doing, even if he is picking up this, he is picking up this, or he is kicking someone, or he is licking something, whatever, means good, bad, worse, whatever he is doing, even if he is enjoying worst carnal pleasures, in that case also, his mind is in that state, and yes, that is Khechari Samya. So Nirvikalpa Avastha is a state, and realizing that all around is Khechari Samya, and not realizing that is called as Khechari Vaishamya.
Okay, fine.
है ना?
So
this is the thing.
Good. Okay, if we don't have any more questions, again, I'd just like to thank you for the precious time that you've given us, and also you've given us, you've ignited the fire. So now we need to, I think, study the Shiva Sutras in more depth. I'm sure once we study it and we start applying it, there'll be many questions coming your way. But again, thank you very much for everyone who's joined the classes, and thank you very much for Giri Ratnaji for giving us this awesome time to teach us further. Jai Ambe.
Jai Ambe.
Jai Ambe, Jai Gurudev.
Jai Gurudev.
Jai Ambe, Jai Gurudev.